Hey YouTubers, it's Valerie with Money Mindset Coach, and here I talk about money, saving money, spending money, frugality, minimalism, and all those kind of things. Basically, a lot about money and my own personal experience and the mistakes I've made and the things that I've done right. So, I just want to apologize for any, I don't know how many videos I made that wasn't this microphone, but it was actually my webcam microphone. My sound quality has not been as good. So I apologize for that. My oldest son fixed the problem when he was here the other day. And so now this is the microphone that you'll hear. So the sound should be better. So I'm sorry about that. So anyway, got it fixed. I have just been in the last week been thinking about, now that I am in the month of April, we're only a couple days in, but I don't have my alimony anymore. So my income is less than half of what I was getting. The good thing is my expenses are low. So missing that extra money really isn't that big of a deal because I could live without that money anyway. I was basically saving it every month, and in doing that, I saved about $30,000 in the last year. So I have a good savings, a good emergency. I have gone over my finances, and yeah, I have enough to pay my bills and then some. But it got me to thinking about living a simpler life. And I mean, for all the frugal people out there, I think we all live very simply. You kind of have to if you're frugal. And the good thing is, I have been a frugal person for quite a while. It's not a foreign concept. It's actually something that I really like. And if I had a boatload more money, I would still be frugal. Because frugal isn't about being cheap or being deprived. It is about spending money on what's important and not spending money on things that aren't. So, we do just fine. We do just fine. But I was looking and doing some research about how to live a more simple life. And my life is pretty simple. It really is. But, living a simple life means cutting out the unnecessary complications. Because that's when life gets messy, is when we have complications. Focusing on what truly matters. And here are some ways to kind of embrace simplicity, which is what I'm trying to do. Declutter your space. I'm actually doing that. There's a whole month-long thing that was on Facebook, and it had different things that you did every day in the month of April to declutter. And so I'm doing that, and it really does help. Now, we're just a couple days into the month of April, so I haven't been doing it for very long, but if you do something every day, it's amazing how much you can get done by the end of the month, end of the week, Organize your home with just the essentials. I've already thought about this. I know that I talked earlier about, okay, I'm only getting my hair cut 4 times a year. So I cut my haircutting budget in half. So every 3 months, I get my hair cut. I got my hair cut in March, so I'm not getting it cut until June. Well, usually when I'm over in Illinois getting my hair cut, I go to my favorite thrift store and I buy some clothes, which this I bought, and then this sweater I bought the last time I went a couple weeks ago. But then I started thinking about it the other day, and I'm thinking, with my Medicare Advantage plan, I am going to the Y for free. Well, over there where I used to live, there's a really, really great Y that has racquetball courts. And none of the Ys where I am right now, when I go into St. Louis, have racquetball courts. And I really love to go into a racquetball court, hit the ball against the wall, because I love playing tennis. Absolutely love it. And when you go into a racquetball court and you've got the ball and you've got the racket, you're kind of playing all by yourself, but you're just hitting it against the wall and you're running after it. And oh my gosh, I could do it forever. I could do it forever. And when I lived over there and I belonged to the Y, I did. It was so much fun. I could hardly stop. And then I was feeling it the next day of like, oh my gosh, why did I run around like a nut? But it is so much fun while you're doing it. So that would keep me out of the thrift store, and it would keep me, that would be a form of exercise that costs me nothing, because it's at the Y and I don't pay to go to the Y because of my Medicare Advantage plan. So that's a win-win. So anyway, I just thought about that. But adopt a 1 in, 1 out rule for new purchases. I don't really buy all that much. To tell you the truth, I don't need hardly anything. But I understand this concept. I have a book, an organizing book called Clutter Control. And the guy who wrote the book talks about, having a certain number of purses, for instance. Well, if you go buy a new purse, you have the certain number that you have in your house. If you go buy a new purse, one of the ones you have has to go. Well, can you say goodbye to any of them? If you can't, you're not going to buy the new purse because you got to get rid of one. And that can be hard sometimes. So, 1 in, 1 out? Absolutely. Number 3, enjoy simple pleasures. Simple pleasures really don't have to cost anything at all. Spending time in nature. Lately, I think people have been discovering nature, especially now that it's spring and all the buds are on the trees, the dogwoods are blooming. I've got some little purple flowers in my yard. I haven't mowed my grass yet because these wildflowers have come up all over. And it's not just my yard, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I don't know what they are. If you know what they are, let me know, because I love it and it's beautiful and I don't want to mow them down. So, they're getting a little long in my yard, but I don't really care because they're pretty. This year I'm going to grow some of my own food. Well, there's nothing better than that, than growing your own food. You know exactly where it came from. It's not coming from Mexico. It's not coming from Guatemala. It is coming from outside your front door. And I'm going to do a tomato plant. Oh, there's nothing better than real tomatoes that you've actually grown. The ones in the store are not that good. The homegrown tomatoes are wonderful. I'm thinking of planting the things that I actually eat. I love carrots. I love cucumbers. Tomatoes, of course. hey, that will help my food budget. And it's not costing me anything. I have a whole thing downstairs in my basement that has seeds and stuff, and I'm going to be setting that up and starting to germinate some seeds. I don't have to actually even go and buy the plants. I can actually start the seedlings and do it. And that is going to be absolutely amazing. And I got to tell you, I haven't done it. I can't tell you the last time that I did it. It's been a really, really long time, but I am going to try it. Find the joy in everyday moments. I mean, a lot of our normal run-of-the-mill lives are kind of pretty mundane, you know? And we can think that those things are boring because we don't stop to actually think about those moments, you know? There's a whole movement of mindfulness. And I got to tell you, yesterday, when I spent time with my grandson, when he comes up beside me and sits right next to me, there's like no space between the two of us. That's special. That is special. He actually grabbed my face and he kissed my nose. He was just the cutest thing. Well, I could miss those things. I could miss them. Or I could not take the time to be thankful for those things. But, cooking, a lot of times oh gosh, I gotta cook. Well, you could actually enjoy cooking. Reading. I read a lot. And while I'm on the subject, I stopped by the library because I had put a request in for a book, and they finally said that it had come in. It took a couple weeks. But this is a book, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life. Now, I got to tell you, I think the Japanese people are positively amazing. I think they are into not perfection, but excellence. That's why a Toyota, a Honda, a Lexus, an Acura, which I have, that's why those cars are well put together, well engineered, and run for a really long time. Because of the way that the Japanese people live. I have long admired them and just was crazy about them. So I was in Barnes and Noble. I go in there when I walk with my son. We walk in the mall. We don't buy anything. We just walk so we get some exercise. But we go into Barnes and Noble, and when I see a book that I like the name of it, I take a picture of it. Especially the name of this, I can't pronounce that. That's Japanese, but I would have never remembered that. I would have never remembered it, so I took a picture of it. Anyway, they called me and they said that the book was in. Well, the woman working at the library tonight, after I got off work, was so fun to talk to. We just had the best conversation. And we were talking about the different books that we've read, and we've read a lot of the same books, so it was really fun. But anyway, I mentioned a book that I had also taken a picture of, and I was going to request that book when I got done with the Japanese book. But I just mentioned it, and she knew exactly what book I was talking about. It's this one. How to Know a Person, The Art of Seeing Others Deeply and Being Deeply Seen. I gotta tell you a story. I don't even remember how old I was. I don't remember if I was married. I don't really remember. But I remember my dad had this idea of us doing this father-daughter date thing. And I think it was his birthday or it was my birthday. I don't know. Our birthdays were kind of close. They were about a month apart. But we went to eat at Red Lobster. And then we went to go see a movie. And I gotta tell you, I was nervous. I grew up with a dad who, until I was 16 years old, was a traveling salesman. So he left on a Monday or Tuesday and came home on Friday. I saw him on the weekends. And then on the weekends, he wasn't spending time with us, he was spending time with my mom. You know, they were being together because they'd been separated all week. So, you know, I didn't have a lot of time with my dad. And even at the age of 16, when he came home every night, I didn't know what to talk to him about. So I could talk to him when other people were around. I could do that. But just one on one, where there was nobody else to say anything, I didn't know how to talk to him. And deep down, I really didn't think that I knew him. And I don't know if I ever really did. I don't really know. So when I saw this book, I thought, you know, who wouldn't want to be really known and seen and to know the people in their life? How many times do we have those deep conversations? How do we know what we really think about different things? I think sometimes with my kids, I think there's times where they only know me as their mom. They don't know about the single person that I was. They don't know about the kid that I was. They weren't there for that. You know, they only know me in the one dimension. And like I've known them their whole lives. From a baby, they're all in their 30s now, they're all adults. I have known them their whole lives, but they have not known me my whole life. And so I'm really looking forward to reading this book, both of these books. So anyway, reading is really important to me. I have a place in my living room where I read. Right now, because it's too cold in the morning, I get up, get my coffee, and I go back to bed. And I get in bed, and that's where I read for an hour. Once it gets warmer, I'll be out on my deck. You know, right now it's dark when I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So reading is a very big thing to me, and I positively love it, and I read all the time. But those things, you can find such joy in those things. And these books didn't cost me anything. I got them at the library and actually on, okay, okay, for this book, down at the bottom of the receipt here, it says you saved $30 by getting the book from the library because I didn't buy it. This Japanese one, I saved $13.59 by not buying it at Barnes & Noble. So I saved money. Okay, number 4, prioritizing relationships over stuff. Oh, yes. Spending quality time with people. I would much rather do that than go to the store and buy some gadget or something. I'd rather just really spend time with people and have those deep conversations where you really get to know them and find out what makes them tick. And that's the next thing. Have deep conversations instead of small talk. I hate small talk. I hate it. The bridal shower that I went to a couple weeks ago, I ended up sitting down and talking to the grandmother of the bride. My boyfriend's family is my boyfriend's nephew. That's his side of the family. Well, I kind of already knew them, and they already knew me. So unless I can get into a deep conversation with somebody, they already know me and I already know them. So what do we talk about? You know, I like to really get to know people. So that's why I'm really looking forward to that book. Be present in the moment rather than distracted by a device. Oh my gosh, that is so true. How many times do you go into the restaurant and you see a couple that is definitely on a date night and they're both on their phones? That's not interacting with each other. That's interacting with somebody on your phone. Now, my boyfriend, oh my gosh, he has a problem because I can be, texting somebody and then he'll start talking to me. I don't want to stop when I'm in the middle of a thought. What I need to say to him is, wait a minute, I got to finish this text, because if my sons are texting me, I'm texting them back. I might be commenting on some group on Facebook, but I'm in the middle of it. I have to finish it. So, we run into problems every once in a while. Number 5, reduce stress and commitments. Say no to things that don't serve you. A lot of times, and I've been there, I say yes when I want to say no. If it's just not your thing, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it because people think, like I've been a people pleaser. I've been there. And I've done things that I didn't want to do. It's not good. Not good. Focus on fewer, more meaningful activities. Yeah. You don't have to do everything. There are some people who do everything. And there's no need, Actually, the month of April, because March was so busy, my birthday, my sister's birthday, 2 of my 3 kids' birthdays are in March. We had the bridal shower. It was just a lot. I went out to eat a lot, which I don't normally do. And I am ready to not eat out at all for the month of April, except to have lunch with a friend that we couldn't have lunch last week. I already made up my mind before March was over that April was going to be a month of no appointments. I was just zeroing in. I mean, we do have Easter. But I was just really cutting down on things that I was doing. Sometimes you feel like you're going here, there, and everywhere. And to tell you the truth, now that my grass is growing and everything, I've got a lot of yard cleanup to do. And I love nothing better than to take a Saturday and spend all day weed whacking, mowing, raking, just being outside in my yard. I positively love that. And I love doing that when I have nowhere to go. Usually 1 day a week. This is something I'm trying to for this whole month. But usually 1 day a week, I have a day where there is nowhere that I have to go, nowhere that I have to be, no time constraints. I can get up in the morning and I literally could watch Netflix all day if that's what I want to do. That's a simple pleasure to me. It's whatever you feel like doing. Nobody's telling you, nobody's demanding your time. Nobody's asking you to go anywhere or do anything. It's just a free day. This month, I'm trying to have a free month. Other than my job, some of the other things that I know I'm going to have to do. Oh, creating a peaceful daily routine. That is something, I'm a routine person anyway. So when I get up in the morning, I wake up at 6 o'clock, whether I set the alarm or I don't. I always set the alarm for 6 o'clock on days that I work, because for some strange reason, maybe I could sleep later than that, and I don't want to do that. So I get up at 6 o'clock, I go make my coffee, I come back to my bedroom, and I read for an hour. That is a wonderful way to start the day. That, to me, is peaceful. Then I get up and I walk my dog. I thoroughly enjoy, for the most part, walking my dog. I live in a beautiful area with hills and it's beautiful scenery. Well, it's fun when you go and look at the scenery and walk your dog at the same time. It's very, very good. Come home. I do some cleaning. On my days that I work, then I start getting ready for work. And then I go to work, and I work in a kitchen boutique store, and I meet some of the most amazing people that I have these wonderful conversations with. And, maybe I'll never see them again, but I have really good conversations with these people, and I thoroughly enjoy talking to them. I really, really, truly do. But I have my routine. I come home, I have my dinner, I walk my dog. It's like it's not exciting, but it's peaceful. And that is what I am looking for. Basically, if you're going to have a simple life, you are going to live frugally, which I definitely do. But basically, frugal people are going to repair instead of replace something. If you can do that, you're going to fix it. Grow and cook your own food. I already talked about doing that, and that's one thing that I plan on doing. And then find joy in making do with what you have. Frugal people, on average, because you can spend some bucks. There's nothing wrong with being frugal and spending money on something that's good quality. But frugal people will buy something that is very good quality and then maintain that. So then that good quality item lasts even longer. Because when it all comes down to it, I have a Vitamix blender. That thing will last a long, long time. But if I take really good care of it and I'm not really hard on it, it will last longer. So that means for what I paid for it, the number of uses are more. That means individual use cost goes down. Simple. It's really simple. And that's what frugal people do, is you use something until it can't be used anymore. Part of what I'm doing with my car. My car has 203,000 miles on it. It runs great. It's a wonderful car. It was made in Japan. That's why. It's got the best sound system I've ever had. And, I positively love it. And I'm going to keep it. I am going to keep it. There's going to be things that are going to go wrong. That's typical. A car that has a certain number of miles on it are going to have certain things go wrong and needing to be replaced. And I can do that, and I can pay for that. Now, if it's a transmission or an engine, can't do that. Just put new tires on it, $685. I can do that. Put a new battery in it right after I got it. I'm going on having it in August. It'll be 3 years. All I've done, tire rotations, oil changes, battery, and new tires. That's it. That's it. That's pretty darn good for a car that has over 200,000 miles on it. I love it. But anyway, these are just things about how to live a simpler life. And I started reading a book today. This is another book called How Much is Enough? And I really truly believe that in our society, I don't think, especially Americans, I mean, there are so many other countries that live with so much less than what we have. What we have is a huge, I mean, they look at what we have and they are looking at us like, what? We're big consumers. We are. And I actually saw a documentary the other day about the Amish and how they live. And I so admire them too. So admire them. But the thing is we don't know how much is enough because we're always comparing ourselves to somebody else and what they have. A lot of times you can be a certain age and you can see somebody else your age who has more than you do. And you start to think, well, I should have that. And that's not necessarily the case. Everybody should work at their own pace. And nobody should be looked at like, well, by this age, you should have this, because they will do that. Society will do that. You should be married by a certain age. You should have kids by a certain age. When I got married, well, I was asked before that, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? You know, and then I finally got married. Well, then people would ask you, when are you going to have a baby? You have a baby. When are you going to have another one? You have 2 boys. When are you going to have a girl? You know, it goes on and on and on. Oh, when are you going to have a grandchild? Well, the thing about grandchildren is you have nothing to do with that. However many you have is up to your kids. It's not up to you. You just get to enjoy them. So anyway, if you've made it this far, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Are you trying to live a simpler life? I named some things here, but maybe there's some other things that you're doing that you are doing in your simple life. I would love to hear them. So anyway, like I always say, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Till next time, bye.